You were a mess and Dad was a mess.
Yeah, you ain't getting out of that clean.
And it was going to be about like the life cycle of corn.
He is a one-man wrecking crew. Like, he could be his own reality TV show, just him.
Oh, that was set up. They let the fire get out of control. Let me tell you, like, our crew was in danger, okay?
She asks you something and she can just see your like body motion. You're like, you didn't like
They
that.
prey on weakness.
They're like, oh,
I'm perfect for reality TV.
Because you're a
I'm
show?
a show that can't hold back my emotions or anything.
Hey y'all, welcome to Meet the McBees, powered by Ag America Media. Today's episode is going to be an interesting perspective change. We're actually going to be hearing from Britton, who is one of the producers from season 1 of the McBee Dynasty, getting to hear from the production side of reality TV and what it takes to actually produce and edit a reality TV show like McBee Dynasty. Guys, new episodes of Meet the McBees drops every Tuesday on YouTube and every other audio podcast listening platform. So saddle up and let's get down and dirty with it. Hey y'all, welcome to Meet the McBees. We've got an exciting episode today. I'm pumped about it personally because we get to explore the real in reality TV from a producer's perspective. So today we have producer from season 1. Actually, what is your actual title? Field producer from season 1 of the McBee Dynasty, Britton, who we've become close with really throughout all of season 1. She was there for the ups and a lot of the down moments that we had throughout the season. So we're excited to hear from Britton's side, from the production side of what takes place in reality TV, and then also hear from her perspective on the train wreck that she watched from season 1, because it was a little bit of a train wreck.
It was interesting.
We were a mess.
You were a mess and Dad was a mess.
Yeah, you ain't getting out of that clean. I ain't letting you.
I feel like Cole always tries to come down on me during these.
He just
You call me out,
guys
so I
are
go back
competing
at
for
you.
biggest mess.
Who's the worst?
Yeah, who's the absolute worst for season 1? All right, so to get into this, how were you introduced to the show? Like, how did you even find out about this?
Yeah, I got a random call, which was really interesting because at that point in the industry, like, nobody was working. There were a bunch of strikes about to happen. So I got a call from the executive producer that I had interviewed with for a show, like, I don't know, like 6 months before that, but we didn't actually work together. And they just told me that they had this farm show, and it was going to be about, like, the life cycle of corn and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm sitting in my LA apartment, like, surrounded by traffic. And I was like, well, all right, that could be interesting.
Had you ever been to the Midwest or anything?
Yeah, I mean, I've traveled all over for work, but definitely haven't, like, lived this type of lifestyle before. So it was
different.
a big change.
She was thinking she was coming out here to shoot a documentary on farmers growing
on corn.
Oh, yeah, and that is not what happened
No,
at
that
all.
is not what happened.
It's like, okay, it'll be some, like, horses, some cattle, and now we have, like, beat-up cars and love triangles. And,
Yeah, a bunch of drama that takes place on the farm. We've told people for a long time that our farming operation in particular, I don't know if it's like this on all farms, but our farming operation could make a great reality TV show, not because of the farm itself, but really just because of the dynamics between our family and then the relationship struggles that some of us seem to have. Jesse.
Seem to have.
I know.
Yeah.
There's a few of them.
You know, so this was your first time on an actual farm, though. You've been in the Midwest, but first time on a farm?
I mean, I don't know. I've done shows that have taken me to really weird places, but yeah, I don't think I have, like, been in a pasture with buffalo moving and, like, yeah, I haven't done anything like that before.
It's a little different. Well, and what's crazy thinking back to it is, depending on where we went with the show, because with the production company, there was a few different networks that were wanting this show, and whatever network picked it up, it was going to be how the show was created. So if we went on National Geographic, it was going to be just a show about farming and ranching, like literally just planting corn. And imagine that.
Yeah, it was
no
gonna
one
be
would have
like
seen our personal lives at all.
I don't know what that's called. What is it called? It was going to be like a more like educational than anything, right?
Just a documentary.
Documentary.
Yeah.
Documentary.
Yeah.
No,
I mean,
just
teaching-
imagine him just strictly
Yeah.
talking about farming.
I would have liked to say good luck to anybody trying to do that and
I
trying
know.
to keep all the other stuff out of it. Like, that sounds harder than actually shooting a documentary.
It would be.
We definitely ended up
We're a lot more of a shit
in
show than we
the
are
most
educational.
realistic show we could have been that actually portrays our life, without
Yeah.
doubt.
That's so true. I mean, I remember I've worked on a lot of reality shows, and I remember, like, calling, not to disrupt my NDA, but I remember calling my friends and family and being like, this shit is crazy. Like, this is the most real drama I've ever seen in my life on set.
We laid it all out there. Well, and one of the things that we had talked about with the production company, candidly, what they'd said, what has made the Kardashians so successful is they showed 99% of their life to the audience. Like, they literally just laid it all out there. And we're like, okay, if we're going to do this, we're not going to hold back. We're going to showcase all of the good, even more of the bad, and just what real life is all about for us. And
that right there is where we made a mistake. We should have held back.
We should have
maybe
back.
just like we should have held back, maybe just a little bit.
yeah, I think that
Steven had us all talked into this. He just
putting it all out there. I'm
putting
like,
it all
it
out
was
there.
you who talked everybody
It
into
was.
it.
It sounded like
No,
a
it
great
was
idea.
Dad and I. We had like a family meeting
You
beforehand. We're
did.
like, all right, guys, like it was like a raw speech. It was going into filming. We're like, all right, we're gonna lay it all out there. Don't hide anything. Like, show your full emotions. Just be who you are.
It was
And
terrible.
then I think it
advice
was
to me.
like episode 2 in Fort Worth when I was watching Cole, and I was like, damn, I really should have. That was horrible advice.
that was
Oh my gosh.
bad.
I still remember the first day I met you guys at headquarters. Like, you guys all walked out in boots, cowboy hat, like firm handshake. I was just like, where are we right now, and what is going on? This is so weird.
It's like, at first you thought we were probably just proper gentlemen, just no drama, just.
Yeah, I was like,
Really
everyone
good
is
guys,
so
like-
polite. Like, there's that Midwest charm. Like, what could possibly go wrong here?
And then you get Steven in a
Sticky
bad
nose.
mood, and he's not polite.
All right, or you get a drink in Cole's hand, and all of a sudden.
Okay, or you, Cole.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm sorry. I get my attitudes sometimes.
Cole and I fight sometimes.
Yeah, she had to line me out a couple times last year. It was
There was one time early on last year where I actually did feel bad. It was when I was working out, and you kept wanting
Yes.
to
Oh my God.
get. You
I
kept
love that.
asking me questions, and I'm trying to get a real workout in, and I'm like, oh, I was getting so. I think I walked out of the gym.
You did. Yeah. I asked you like one too many questions, and I needed to push you along because we had to leave before the sunset or something like
Yeah,
that.
and I like my 2-hour workouts.
You like took something off and left the gym, and I was like, wow. All right. That was.
is that when you actually left, like drove away?
I don't think I actually left. I
No.
walked around back, and I
Yeah.
stormed off, and then I came back after I had my.
Threw your little tent.
Yeah, I threw a temper
little-
tantrum.
And now you know to plan your workouts.
My real
Not on
workouts, when I
film.
want to be undisturbed for 2 hours straight, I do those in the morning now.
But if you think about like, if you're just gonna sit there and work out and not talk,
There's no
what-
show
yeah,
with
what
me
are they
just
gonna
working
fit, like-
out, like jamming out to music. It is. You guys have a crazy difficult job trying to balance, like, you have to capture our lives and something that's compelling with us actually having to live our real lives. And so I know that, we feel like we've been frustrated. I feel like we can actually showcase our raw emotion to you just because we've gotten close to you throughout season 1, and we've been able to say, like, whenever I'm pissed off, I'll be like, Britton, I'm annoyed right now. Whereas
I already know, but yes.
We can tell about 4 answers
I
before
have.
then.
I know all your little ticks now. I'm like, oh God.
I can tell when I walk in the office and I look at you. Yeah, today's gonna be a bad day.
I can see literally as soon as my phone rings or it lights up at 5:30 a.m. to a group text of what we're gonna do that day. I'm like, oh, God damn.
My favorite is when you guys are all mad and you're texting each other right in front of me, and I'm like, what? What
Yeah,
are you,
you-
what are you
on
doing?
camera.
we think we're being like
Yeah, when
not,
someone sends a
not
text,
suspicious
everybody's
at
phone in the
all.
locker room lights up.
I'm just
like,
standing there
Britton's
like,
so freaking annoying.
excuse me.
What has been the biggest shock going to the farm and shooting this show from like expectations versus reality of coming out here?
I think how real it is, like how real everything was, and just the drama that follows you guys everywhere that you go, and
It's like
just-
not even us sometimes. It's just like the crazy shit that like it is
just
us.
happens.
Yeah.
But,
It
like,
is us. Yeah,
it
Cole's
is
trying
us,
to push
but,
it
like,
off.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's this crazy shit that always like surrounds us somehow. It's like a black cloud and just follows me.
yeah, I would say that. I mean, like the cows escaping randomly and running down the highway. That happened like week 1 of filming, and I was just like, how does this stuff happen to you guys? And then also just the amount of knowledge I have about planting and harvesting and corn and like all of these things that I never would have known before. It's
Cole taught you up.
I
Oh,
taught you,
that's
didn't
cool. Yeah.
Cole taught me how to harvest.
I? I did.
Well, I think for anyone that doesn't live in the ag industry or in rural communities, you don't really understand. You probably think that we live like the super simple life, like we wear overalls every day, which Cole does a lot of the times,
Yeah,
and
I
have
know
like a
what you're saying
pitchfork in
about
our
that.
hand. Like it's not as complex as what you would think, and then you get out here and you see the tractors, you see the combines, you see how many moving parts there are, and how much is going on at any given time, especially in an operation of our size. And I think that it's probably eye-opening, I would assume.
Yeah, for sure. Like coming out to the farm for the first time, I thought like this is going to be super peaceful at all times. It's quiet. There you can hear like the birds chirping, the crickets, but it's not. I think people from the city don't understand that. Like
Yeah.
it seems like it's peaceful, but it's so chaotic at all times.
That is true. Like there's always something breaking, something you gotta fix, like somebody mad, somebody like there's always
I think the
something.
fact that we have Steve McBee in this farming operation definitely cranks that up maybe a little bit compared to normal farms.
Yeah.
That man is a.
I would like to see another farm actually and just compare it to this one.
I
'Cause this is the only one I
guarantee
know.
you would go out there
You'd
and
be
be like,
bored.
"This is so boring. Like, they're just relaxed. They're just
No one's
planting,
yelling.
and no one's yelling.
No one's
Steve
in a bad
McBee's
mood.
not. There's not 3 different women coming after Steve McBee. Like, what's going on here?"
Nothing to say.
No comments.
Going back to how real this reality show, season 1 is, 'cause I know we have a lot of comments that come in, and they're saying that number 1, we set up the people stealing our equipment, or we set up wrecking Galena's Escalade. Like, we did all this stuff and staged it all. From your perspective,
No, absolutely not. I can tell you that none of that was staged. Another thing that I've read is when you guys were burning the field in episode 1, I've also read like, oh, that was set up. They let the fire get out of control. Let me tell you, like, our crew was in danger. Okay?
we were just
we were one fence line away. So basically, we had this field that we were planning on burning. There was a fence line, and then all of y'all's production vehicles were right on the other side of that fence line. And the wind switched and started blowing right towards the production vehicles. And if the fire got through that fence line, there was no stopping it. Like,
Yeah.
the
there was
production
a
vehicles,
house in our barn up
Yeah,
there on
it
that
was all
farm.
done for.
Yeah, it was all.
Yeah, I cannot believe that people on the internet have said that that's staged because I'm like, no, we were like outrunning a fire. Like,
Yeah,
a literal
everybody
fire.
was freaking out. Everybody was.
Yeah, I mean, just due to episode constraints, they weren't able to include, like, every piece from that day, obviously.
Right.
There was, like, we were all stressed
It was
out.
chaotic.
Cole and I were yelling at each other. I almost ran Cole over with the tractor.
You did. You jumped the clutch on that one when you
I
let me
jumped the
out.
clutch before I put the tractor in park, and Cole was standing on the steps of the tractor about to jump off, and the tractor starts rolling forward.
Yeah.
It was a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a mess. That was a shit show. That was like the first like 3 days last year.
Yeah,
Was
well,
it
yeah.
filming? If I remember right.
Yeah, that was definitely week 1.
Yeah, it
for
was like
sure.
week 1. It was like right
It's a
away.
hell of a way to start it off.
It was.
Yeah, but yeah, nothing you mentioned staged in any
At all.
way at all. Shock to me, shock to you.
That's what I was trying to tell people. I was like,
No, my dad seriously let his other side chick use his girlfriend's car. It's real. I wish I could
fake.
make that up,
It's
but
not.
yeah, he in and of himself. Would you say he was the most dynamic personality of anyone on the farm?
I mean, your dad just has like a larger than life personality. The first time I met him, I was just like, who, what? Who,
who does he think he is?
Yeah, who does he think he is? No, just kidding. I love Steve, but I'm like, who is this person and how did he get this way is what I want to know. Like,
I think he was born that way.
yeah.
We ask ourselves that question.
Yeah,
quite
we
a
all
bit.
wonder.
He's
Like,
been like that since as long as we can remember, and even stories that we hear, like whenever he was growing up or in high school, the exact same way. Like, he is a one-man wrecking crew of a drama. Like, him in a, like, he could be his own reality TV show, just him.
Oh yeah, I mean, in interview, he could just talk for like 30 minutes, and I have to be like, all right, we need to.
Yeah, we
That
need
was
to
the
cut
first
this
question.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
try to get Jesse to talk. Like, come on, let's go.
Yeah,
My dad's
I
like,
know.
hey, all right, you're good. You've
That's
said
enough.
enough an hour
That's
ago.
enough.
Jesse's good in interview, actually.
Is he?
Yeah, he actually is. Like, I'll ask him one question, and he'll just go ahead and answer the next 4. And I'm like, how do you know what
Wow.
I
just
like? Are
think
you reading my
ahead, you know?
paper?
If I could ask a question, I can answer it a little
Yeah.
easier.
It's also you're also probably annoyed. You're probably like, let me just go
Dude,
ahead so you
Well,
don't
my
have to
interviews
ask.
Yeah.
last year, my first 2,
I heard yours were rough.
they were terrible. We couldn't even use the first 2. I had to
Which is
redo,
really
like
surprising.
4 hours worth of interview. I had to redo like 2 hours each time because they were so bad.
I
Like,
feel
they had
like
to meet
you're
with
the
me and
most
say,
talkative.
I know, dude.
You
You
were
don't.
just so nervous.
I
and
was.
You kept like beating down on yourself too, and you'd be like, "No, that's not good." And I'd be like,
I
"No,
hate
that's
that
actually
answer.
good."
Yeah, I'd answer. I'm like, no, never mind. Don't use that. Let me redo that. And by like the 5th time I redid, I was like, all right, next question. We're gonna come back to that. And then I literally the first 2 times I did my interviews were terrible. They had to talk to me and be like, hey, we can't use any of this. Like, they did. It was
Hey,
bad.
you suck. We're not going to be able to use that.
The best
rough.
moments for you though are when it's really funny. Like I will sit below the lens for your interviews.
I had
that-
to talk to her.
Yeah, because you guys look at the camera.
Yeah.
But Cole will look at me and he'll say the best stuff when he's looking at me. So I figured out to sit below the lens so that you can't tell, and then you don't think that you're interviewing when you're telling me stuff. But it's
It is
that's
bad.
the stuff
Like in
that's on the
between
show.
questions, we'd just be talking, and then I could see those would be getting used. And
Yeah, those are all
I'd
on
be
the
like,
show.
I
got me.
love our interview setup because the way the camera is, it's literally sitting right in front of the toilet of our bathroom. So it looks really cool on screen, but if you actually knew the behind the scenes setup, it's like the cameraman
Yeah.
is in the bathroom, almost on the toilet, and then
We're shooting
Britton's-
through a doorway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's pretty. Yeah.
Looks good on camera.
It does. It looks good.
Yeah.
It's crazy how good stuff looks after like.
Oh, I'm shocked.
Yeah, like you see it whenever it's happening. You know how we did it, and then it's crazy how good it turns out. Like the production side of things.
Yeah,
like,
our
like the
team's
editing.
really talented.
It's
They
crazy.
They are. And also, I think for me, the favorite, like what I love most about being able to do all this is living the memories in real time. So we're shooting the show, for instance, the Nashville or the Fort Worth trip, and you're thinking back, and you're
This
like,
was
man,
actually not the best thing. About it.
I loved it.
Trying to
Because
see
for
what
me,
point you're trying to make.
I'm sitting
really
there in the
confused on
moment,
what
and
you're
I'm
trying
like,
to
is
say.
this really happening? Like, this is, to me, this is hilarious. And then to get to watch it back, and you're like, damn, yeah, Cole really did say that.
I can't laugh.
I laughed so hard at the end. Was it the end of episode 2? Fort Worth? I laughed
He said he
so
should be
hard
praised
watching
like
it.
a king.
I
And I already
shouldn't
knew
have.
what happened, and I was still laughing.
Oh man, I'm
Boy,
sorry.
the
I'm
internet
sorry,
had a
Casey.
field day.
Me-
I know. I'm sorry, Casey, too, but it was so funny.
That was a year and a half
That was
ago.
a long time ago, and Casey and I were in a completely different place than we are now.
I feel like you have matured.
I have matured a lot, grown up. I'm a different person now. I feel like.
You are.
He's more mellow. He's got a baby on the way.
Yeah, I'm growing up. It's life. Once you have a kid, it's what happens.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's get into some more questions about season 1 of the McBee Dynasty. So we're gonna rapid fire these. Jesse, I'll let you ask Britton.
Okay.
Dude, I want to get this. I want to ask her because she's always asking me
I know.
questions.
Oh, yeah, let's-
I want to.
yeah,
like,
let's talk about
Usually,
that.
yeah, usually Britton's the one that's interviewing us whenever we're in one-on-one interviews. So this is where it's just us sitting in a chair, and it's essentially an interrogation. So it is. It's an interrogation.
As soon as she sees you answer she asks you something and she can just see your body motion. You're like,
Yeah.
you didn't like
They
that.
prey on weakness.
They're like, oh, I'm hitting
Oh
that.
my God.
5
You
more
see
times.
me
Yeah.
like if you see like a question and we like wince up at it, it's like I'm instantly
Or if
gonna ask
you could
10 more.
hold back at all, they can tell when you hold back.
You do know when I hold back.
Yeah, so tables have turned, I guess.
I know.
You guys
Yeah,
can-
we're gonna take advantage of this.
We are.
Well, I know my answers to all these, but I guess we'll ask you. Who has the worst mood swings
Damn.
out of the entire cast? And don't be scared to call anybody out.
I think it's Cole.
Yes.
Really?
I don't know, or Steven. Sorry.
No, you went with Cole. You went with Cole.
there's no
Okay,
way.
but they're different though. Your mood swings are different. Like Steven's is like a slow burn that I can see coming, but Cole is just like snap and then he's normal again, like instantly.
I always apologize too. I'm like, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I don't
you
know
do.
why I got mad.
You
I
do.
shouldn't have got mad.
Yours are just slightly more dramatic. Steven's are a little different.
Cole's an emotional guy.
No,
he
I'm
just
not.
lays it all out
We
there.
love that. We love that.
You gotta have it.
I'm perfect for reality TV.
Because you're a shit
I'm
show.
a shit show that can't hold back my emotions or anything. I have no filter.
Pretty much.
True. I always know you're telling me the truth.
Yeah, there is no faking it with Cole.
No, there's not.
All right, next question. What cast member would you least want to wake up in the morning?
I would think that this question was about like who's going to be the grumpiest.
Mhm.
Yes.
But it's interesting, like our production crew is so big that there's nowhere big enough for us to live. So we live actually an hour from the farm.
Yep.
So we have to drive an hour each morning. So if I'm waking up Steven and he wakes up at 4:30, that means
gotta be up
I
at, like,
have to
2.
wake. I might as well not go to bed. Like I have to
Yeah.
be up at 2:30.
That's a good point.
Do
So
y'all-
I'm gonna pick Steven.
Were you there whenever we filmed the actual wake up scenes of me coming to the office, and we did it in real time, so it was at 4:35 a.m.
Yeah, I remember showing up to headquarters at like the sun's not even up yet. Yeah.
Not even close.
Yeah,
It's
not
2
even
hours
close.
away. I was shocked. I thought we were gonna redo that or film it at like 7 p.m. to make it look like it was early in the morning. No, y'all actually showed up at 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah, real time.
Real time.
I did. I felt
Like
bad.
3 days in a row.
I
I'm
did
like,
feel bad.
What is this guy working on? Like, no one's awake right now.
That's what we say.
That's what we say.
That's why I love it. I don't get bothered.
He reads his books.
I do.
All right. Who makes you laugh the most on camera? This is easy.
You and Casey for sure. Like a lot of times, our camera people will be laughing too, and they will have to like.
That's when you know. It's
No,
good.
that's what we
Yeah.
talk about. You
They'll have
know
to
it's a
cover
good
their
joke.
mouth.
You always got like, when you say something, you're like, is that funny? You look around and see everybody's laughing. I'll give
I
it a
see
look.
Seth over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always look at Josh because he's hearing everything on the
Yeah.
audio
Yeah.
side. I'm like looking over. I'm like, is that funny?
Josh and I will look at each other and literally have to turn around because we'll be like, we're gonna make so much noise right now. And
I
it's not
do.
even when you're trying to be funny though. It's just like the ridiculous things that come out of your mouth.
Yeah, I get-
There's a lot.
Never know.
Put Cole in a bar scene, and there is some outlandish takes.
Yeah. Also, Jake. Jake makes me
Jake
laugh
is
a lot.
Jake's funny as all get out.
He's an idiot.
Especially when you and Jake are together, it's like This is gonna go off the rails immediately.
Yeah, it's not good. You never know what's gonna be talked about whenever it's Jake and I. Especially Jake. He just says some of the most like.
There was what was he wearing last year when we were in Nashville?
That suit that he found.
Yes,
It was like a 1965 suit.
he literally wore that on Broadway and then was dancing. Did he take that out dancing that night?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, yeah.
He wore it all night long.
Yep.
I missed that because I was with the girls and the male stripper. So.
Oh, I'm sure that
Oh,
was
that's
more
right.
fun.
Yeah.
Nashville was a boring time anyway, so we just kind of sat around the house.
Yeah,
and
Steven
chilled.
met no one.
No twins were involved.
Oh, I didn't say it this time.
Oh,
I
said the word.
Whoops. Hey, y'all. Today's episode is brought to you by Ag America, your go-to financial partner for all things agriculture. As the largest independent financial firm dedicated to rural America, Ag America is changing the game of ag, lending and leveling up financing options for farmers, ranchers, and landowners across the nation. And I'll let you in on a secret. The thing that sets this company apart from the rest is the people. They understand firsthand the unique needs of American farmers and ranchers because many of them grew up on the farm themselves. They take a farmer-focused approach to finance, prioritizing relationships over transactions to help you build a stronger financial foundation for your farm and family. So whether you're looking to buy land or secure working capital, Ag America has your back. Visit agamerica.com today to learn more and see how they can help you achieve long-term financial success. Because when farmers thrive, we all do.
Do you know where your meat comes from? You will now with McBee Meat Company's Build Your Own Box. A retail value of $300 worth of melt-in-your-mouth steaks, insanely delicious griller products, high-protein meat snacks, and a free gift of your choice for only $159. These meats are born, raised, processed, and shipped directly from our family farm here in North Missouri. We're one of very few brands in the entire country who can honestly say that every single step in the meat supply chain is owned and controlled by us. We're doing it all, ensuring your meats are born and raised without the use of GMOs, steroids, antibiotics, vaccines, or whatever the hell else they're putting in meat these days. This type of respect and care for animals and the delicious meats that they provide us can only be found on a family farm. And that's why we're damn proud to bring you this Build Your Own Box, available now at the link below. Your purchase directly benefits our family farm and the rural community that we operate in. And so I want to take this time to personally thank you and tell you how much we appreciate any support that you may give if you decide to purchase your meat from us. We do not take it lightly. It means the world, not only to us and our animals, but also the community we live in. Now, let's get back to the podcast.
All right. What is the most memorable WTF moment you had from season 1, off or on camera?
Oh, yeah, I know immediately what the answer is to this. So I was actually in the car with Galena. Galena was driving when she found out about her Escalade. And that was,
in real time?
yes, and that was the scariest car ride of my entire life.
I cannot imagine.
Dude, I couldn't
I'm
imagine.
scared driving with her.
I couldn't imagine the look on her face. Like, you know how she can, like, it's a scary, like, she gets some
When
scary
she gets
looks.
worked up.
Like,
She gets worked up, her mouth like starts twitching like she does that, and that's when I'm like freaking out.
I love Galena, but I was like checking my
She
seatbelt like
got
every 2
scared.
seconds.
I would have been scared
was
Which
too.
her-
her, I mean, she had every right to be.
No, she
angry.
did. Hey,
Hey,
Yeah, I was
She's
with
what-
her through that whole scene.
were you really?
Yeah, when she saw the Escalade, when she found out how damaged it was, and when she drove and she called you on the phone, Steven, I was in the back seat for that.
I was at FedEx. I was like printing something at FedEx, and I was standing at the cash register, like getting ready to like turn in what I needed printed, and Galena just started screaming on the phone, and I was like, "I'm sorry, I have to walk outside." That was right whenever that was taking place, and I knew.
This is one of the 10 girls I get yelled at by every day.
Yeah, I was like, okay, Callie just got done yelling at me too. But what's bad is Dad had told me that he had let Brooke borrow the car, so I knew a little bit of the story, and I told Dad, I was like, "This is so dumb." Like, there's
I remember
no
us
way.
you texting our group chat like, "Dad's letting Brooke borrow Galena's car," and I'm like,
Yeah.
that's dumb." Which I never would have thought this would happen.
No, that was worst case scenario. I thought Galena would just find out, like,
someone
I
would
did
see
not
her driving
imagine
it or something.
that she would total Galena's Escalade. And so Dad had told me, "Hey, Brooke called me. Her car broke down. She needs a car for like a week and a half. The only car I have available, conveniently enough, is Galena's. Her Escalade had just gotten finished at the body shop. It had gotten like a small dent in the door. So they just finished fixing it. So he was like, I let her borrow it. And I was like, this seems like a horrible
That just doesn't seem like a good idea.
Why
off the
would you
bat.
give away Galena's car to Brooke? And I think Galena might have known a little bit about Brooke at the time. That wasn't new news. She knew Brooke a little bit.
New news.
New news.
She knew who Brooke was.
Yes.
I don't think she knew that Brooke was still
In the
around.
picture.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, that was a bad day.
That was a bad day.
That was
That was
bad
funny.
week.
Day.
And
Kinda
then
funny.
the next day, I want to say we filmed a car wash ground breaking, like where we take the shovels and we just break the ground.
Yep.
And that was the first time Galena and my dad had been around each other in person.
Was that a little blue?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was a little blue park.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, that was actually right before she saw the car. I don't know where it came out in the show, but I went with her from that groundbreaking to the body shop.
Oh, okay. All I know is it was so awkward. I mean, it was bad.
Yeah.
Like you could cut the tension in the air with a knife between my dad and Galena, and
I
they
feel
did
like
not
there's
say
been like
single
quite a
word.
few times like that.
There has been.
Once a week, every week.
I'm trying to think. Season 1, did any of us cry on camera? Did you see
I know
any
I
of
made
us?
a couple people cry
You
in
cried.
interviews.
Me?
I just feel like you did.
I don't think I
Your
did.
dad cried talking about Gunner.
No way.
His
Yeah.
hug?
That doesn't surprise
Yeah.
me, honestly.
Not about me?
Not about any of you.
That dude on his nightstand has a photo of him and Gunner.
Yeah.
And we have never made
And then
the
just
nightstand.
one of Gunner. Like, it's just one of
Literally
Gunner
just
on his
Gunner.
own, and then one of him and Gunner, and then that's it.
Yeah, he has a portrait of Gunner dressed up as like a king.
Oh, I got him that.
Yeah. Oh, that was you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I love that
Yep.
picture.
Mm-hmm. All right. So let's go into Reddit reads. And this is a little bit of what we talked about earlier, but I found this online and said, this can't be a real farm. It's just like any other reality show, fake. These guys are nowhere near farmers or cowboys. I bet the producers even faked the car and equipment being stolen from their office.
Yeah.
Fact check.
No, because let me tell you how stressful it is for us when we have a whole plan going into the day based on what you guys are doing that day. And then at 5 a.m. we get a call that's like, well, all our stuff got stolen. You need to get to the farm right now. And we're scrambling to drive an hour to get there to try to cover this like story as it's happening. Every single day on this farm is breaking reality, which is so hard to shoot and chaotic and stressful. So yeah, absolutely not fake.
It was 100% real, unfortunately. And we let our emotions get the best of us, and we thought we could be detectives on our own and find out who did it. We did not.
We were off.
We were off.
We had a wrong hit on it.
Wrong. Cost us some money.
It's not good. And I will say,
we had false information.
false information. We were definitely,
Sorry
sorry to whoever's house we pulled up on.
Embarrassing.
It was a little embarrassing. That was a mess.
Yeah.
We ended up getting our stuff back, though.
We did.
So the truck ended
Oh,
up...
you did?
Yes, 100% of it.
I don't think I knew that.
The truck ended up being parked in the woods by a farm that we actually farm about 20 minutes from here. And then the mowers, the backpack blowers,
blower
and the
and
weed
the-
eaters, and
yeah.
the trailer were down by Lake of the Ozarks, which is like
Oh my God.
4 hours south of here.
Yeah.
Wow.
There was a big theft operation that they found. Like, it was like this whole yard of stuff that had been stolen. I want to say it was like $300,000 or $400,000 worth
Yeah.
of stuff, and all of our stuff was sitting there.
Why do you think they came after you guys?
It was actually the theft. It was allegedly someone that knew us from back in the city,
Yeah.
and then they have some hunting.
That worked for
ground.
my dad way back in the day.
Yeah, they
like
worked for my
90s.
And
dad.
they drove all the way up here?
Yeah.
They have hunting ground north
Okay.
of here, so they were up hunting, and then they came and took.
And
us
some of
south.
their family lives up north of here, so they kind of.
Well, damn, call them out, Cole.
I mean, I don't care who it was, but
I think they're sitting in a jail.
yeah.
cell right
I mean,
now.
it is
I hope
what it
they
is.
Now I want to get into the behind the scenes of a producer's life, because I'm so fascinated with what takes place from the business side and how you guys are able to shoot a show. There is so much that takes place behind the scenes. There's season 1, we had 3 camera crews.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 60 or 70 people working on a show. There's so much taking place in real time that you guys have to figure out what to even make stories about, or what to include in the show, how to film it. What does the production side of reality TV look like? So, like, every single morning, are y'all meeting, or does it happen every night? How do you recap?
Yeah, I mean, we basically don't stop working. Like, when I'm on a show, my entire life and existence is that show.
I can. That's what we talk about. Like that's all.
Yeah.
You guys go home, have meetings at the end of the day. You guys start your mornings in the meeting. Like you guys, all you guys have to.
I get so tired of talking about us if I were you. Like,
I think
we're always
yeah.
on your mind, I feel like.
Well, you guys are actually one of my, I think you guys are my favorite cast I've ever worked with, which don't get,
Hang on.
don't get
Make me cry.
egotistical about it, but it really makes every day of season 1 was such a joy to come to work. It really was, and that's because of you guys. But yeah, I mean, the way that shows typically work is for the first couple of weeks as a producer, you're mining for story. So you're on the ground trying to figure out what's going on in everyone's lives, trying to get caught up with who they are, what their personalities are, like what their struggles are and their motives and their agency and their stakes and your stories. But with you guys, we showed up and like immediately stuff started happening. So we didn't really have that period where we're just like looking for stuff because it was already there. So yeah, when we track a story, we figure out what's happening, then we force you guys to talk about it, obviously.
Over
and
and
25 times.
And over.
And then when you say no more, you do it one more time.
Okay, Jesse.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Animosity.
It's getting personal here. But yeah, we follow what's happening with you guys, and then we figure out ways to tell the story, because a lot of times you guys already know what's happened because we are not, we don't have cameras in your room like all hours of the night. Yeah, thank God. But so when we show up, we just have to figure out how to tell your stories and track them and check in on them.
It is hard because you got to learn like to try to like not have the conversation, like, because you're
Try
not
to
like
save the conversation for camera.
Yeah, because like 10 o'clock at night, you're not like, that's a lot of times, our dad's blowing our phone calling us about different things. We're like, hey, like, let's have this conversation in the morning at 7. We start filming, like, there's a lot of things that you try to like save for camera because I mean, it's hard to make a story make sense without every piece of it, and you have to, and then it's not like you're just going and talking to a camera explaining it. Like, you have to make it make sense, so you got to like do everything in front of the camera.
Constantly we're saying, or not us, usually Britton's just telling us save it for camera whenever we're talking off camera.
Yeah, she's like,
shut
up.
Yeah, she's like, shut up.
Stop talking.
Which is a good problem to have, because that means that you guys have such real story. Like, we are not scripting, we're not coming up with anything, we're not doing any of that. This is all real stuff, and it's just we have to find a way to tell it.
Well, I didn't realize whenever like we first started shooting the show, I didn't realize how much went into it and how many people it took. Like, it's a lot that goes into
convoy.
It. And like to try to, you start to learn like trying to schedule things out. Like, it's not like you guys can just fall. Like, we have to like schedule. There has to be some type of schedule, and on a farm there's no schedule. So I bet that was hard because like
that is hard.
You guys have like no plan. Like, you guys are following
We fly
us
by
around,
the
like,
seat of our pants.
Yeah,
and
like
you guys have to schedule 50, 60 people. And so
an hour drive.
Yes, and an hour drive. And so you guys are trying to schedule the day, and we're like, well, we don't know what we're going to be doing an hour from now, let alone tomorrow.
Yeah, I wish I had a location tracker on all of you. Like, it would just make life so much easier.
No, it would. From a cast perspective, because I'm always curious about this, because I feel like Cole, my dad, and myself were fairly high maintenance. So transparently, where would you rank us on a scale of 0 to 10, with 0 being no maintenance, low maintenance, and 10 being like we are such divas, God, you hate being out here? Where would we rank?
And who's the worst?
I'm glad you didn't include me in that.
You guys aren't asking me who my favorite is. You just went on the negatives. I'm just kidding. It's hard because you're farmers. If you guys were regular people who lived in the city and had like 9 to 5 jobs, I would say 0 to 1. I mean, like nothing. There's no diva-ness here at all. But because you guys are farmers, it's just everything is heightened. Everything is more difficult. But nobody is difficult to work with.
So you'd say we're all like fairly easy to work with? I honestly, I thought really myself, like looking back at myself, I was like, I'm pretty diva-ish.
I did have to talk to Steven and be like, hey, man, maybe we should start like,
I mean,
being a little nice.
I'll speak for,
it's not their fault. It's not their fault that you're mad about.
I'll speak for season 1, but obviously I've been spending a lot more time with you guys recently. Hint. So maybe we can talk later.
We might have to come back in a couple months.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I am not allowed to have a favorite. I might, but I'm not allowed to.
That's what my mom says too, but we know that's not true.
I bet her favorite's none of us 3. I bet it's one of the girls.
It's probably Casey.
Casey and Allie.
Everyone thinks, well, I don't know. Jesse, literally, I was about to send you guys a text today.
Everybody loves Jesse.
Yeah. They said, hang on. Actually, I want to look this up because I got the screenshot.
Everywhere we go out, Jesse's so great. Jesse's the best guy ever.
I was on Reddit trying to find bad things, and this was titled.
I feel like I spent a lot of my life just talking bad about Jesse.
This thread was titled.
Like, no, there's some bad qualities.
Oh,
so I seen this thread and it said a Jesse bash, and I was like, oh yeah, like I'm ready to dive in here. And then literally, whenever I dove in, it said, "Psych! It's literally impossible to bash the guy Jesse for president." I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
I'll bash.
I could bash Jesse.
Yeah,
but I could.
We don't need to.
Thank you. Everyone thinks he's an angel.
I have stuff to say.
Dude cries.
Sorry. So, you guys invest so much time whenever you're traveling, because you're out here for 3 or 4 months straight, I don't even know how you have time to phone anyone back home. How do you balance your life with shooting the show? Like, I don't even know how you'd make your personal life successful with this.
It's not easy. I mean, you have to, especially in relationships, like you need to be with somebody who's so secure and independent. And I'm independent, like, to a fault. You know, I don't need anything, you know. So it's hard. You have to really have an understanding. But with friendships, I mean, my friends are invested in the show and what I'm doing at all times. So because that's the only thing I can think about at any time, when my friends call me, they're like, okay, give us the latest tea. Like, what's going on in the show? And
Tell me about that Cole. What's he doing?
Right,
What dumb things is he doing now?
Yeah, so they kind of like step into my world instead of expecting me to try to step back out of this world and into my reality, which is really helpful. But
well, I've noticed that a lot. Like, it's a small world in reality TV production. I feel like everyone knows everyone, and it seems like there's a lot of relationships or friendships staying inside of that industry, and I feel like it's because y'all understand each other's schedule and how it is.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like summer camp, kind of, when you go onto a show. I mean, we all do know each other for the most part, but there are people that I meet on every single show that I do, but we are living together for months. We are together every single hour of the day for 3 months straight. So you really get to know your crew, and I mean, you're like in the trenches together, so you really form strong bonds. Like, I love our crew so much. We have some of the most talented people in the industry.
Oh, I would agree. Well, and it's hard for us, you know, because obviously with anything with HR-wise, we have to balance that we work together, but we also develop friendships off camera too.
Yeah, that's the hardest part about being a producer, is striking the balance between yourself and your cast, because there has to be such a level of trust and respect and like shared understanding, and we're collaborators and we're coworkers. But it's hard. I mean, we're friends too, but we're kind of not, because in a sense, like, I'm going to let you guys down at some point. You know, I'm going to betray your trust at some point, especially Cole, because he like tells me all this stuff, and I'm like, now you've told
Cole's
me.
just opening up his heart.
Now you've told me, and now I have to do something with this. You know, like, I am constantly having to make choices about the
Made
things.
me talk about Texas last year 35 times for 3 months.
Oh my God, someone's bitter still.
I'm like, again?
I'm like,
I
you,
mean,
you shouldn't have told me. But yeah, I mean, you guys have to have an understanding with me that this is a professional relationship, and at some point, like, I have to do my job, and I might have to put you in a situation where you have to talk about something you don't want to talk about, or like, you know, your tea spills, basically.
It does.
So it's really, really hard to strike that balance, because we care about you guys so much, and I think you care about us too.
Yes.
And we want everybody to, like, we want everyone's livelihood to be sustained, you know?
Yep.
Well, I think we all understand, you know, especially during the show was being filmed last year, like, we all know we're at work. Like, it's professional, like, work. I mean, it's what it is. Like, at the end of the day, we're filming a show as our life, but it also is, like, everybody's job that's there. Like, it's our...
Yeah, the network paid for the show.
Yeah,
they have to...
You treat it like a job. Like, it's your
Yeah.
work. Like, you're whenever... Like, you need to be respectful. You need to be, like...
Yeah.
Like, there's...
In understanding.
Yeah, like...
I would say the
There's
hardest
an
part...
HR, like, you got to do what you got to do. Like, you got to...
So I would say the hardest part for me is knowing that I have to talk about situations that'll be aired in front of the camera where, you know, like, you're like, there's just no way, like, I've got to talk about this. And normally I'd want to talk about it behind closed doors, but we agreed to do this on camera.
Yeah.
And so that's the hard part.
Yeah, living your life on camera. It's really difficult. And it's hard for us to see you guys go through stuff too, because it's not like it's all difficult and bad either. Like, we have so much fun.
Yep.
We have so much fun in between, like, behind the scenes and, I don't know, in the scenes. And it's just you guys have created a really great environment for us, and we try to create a good environment for you too.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think last year a lot of the show was, I mean, we were idiots. Like, we did some things dumb, but it was a lot of fun times. Like, it showed,
Yeah,
like,
it was
so
it
fun.
was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Like, there was things, like, obviously we've grown up a lot, and, like, things are different now, like, but, like, it's still fun doing it. Like, it's, like,
It is.
I mean, it's, like, fun, you know, what we do and having it
Well, I
all,
still say
you know,
that you didn't go on the Montana trip, did you?
No, I was back with the girls.
That was probably one of the best trips of my life.
That was
Yeah.
my favorite
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
It
It
was
was
beautiful.
our favorite episode.
it was
Yeah.
awesome.
That trip, I mean, when we were riding the horses through the rivers and getting all the bison rounded up, like, I was looking back on that and thinking, man, I'm really glad we got to film this, because getting to watch that episode back, like, that's something I'll hold on to for the rest of my life.
Yeah, that was cool.
Absolutely.
And I think it's neat. You know, who knows what this show will become or if there'll be future seasons, whatever it may become. But you look at a show that's been running for 7 to 10 seasons, that's 5+ years of shooting, if not 10 years of shooting. You really get to watch your life evolve, like what it becomes. You watch families being born and raised and grow and mature. I think that's the coolest thing, is knowing 20, 30 years from now, you'll be able to go back and watch that moment in time. And whether it's 1 season or 10 seasons, that's a really cool thing to
Well, I
have.
even heard like Allie saying, "Mom, like it was cool to watch Jesse and
Their
Allie
engagement.
engagement. Like it was cool to go back and see that again. Like that was,
Little stuff like that.
it wasn't
Go
just
back and
pictures
look.
of it. It wasn't just like a photographer out there taking pictures. Like we actually got to see that. I mean, it happened in real life, in real time. Like the video of it. Like
And you've talked about how you feel about it right afterwards, so that's captured forever as well. You know?
yeah.
And I think you were nervous about that at the beginning, but after
About filming.
about filming the engagement, but you're so happy that it was on film now.
Yeah. Now it's just something that we can go back and look at anytime we want to. So
Yeah. It'd be
I still remember like us getting the horses ready. It was cool. Like we were watching that, like
the whole day.
Yeah, that whole day. Like, and then you get to see it all.
and then watching Allie,
unfold.
remember whenever she was walking back to us, she couldn't ride her horse because she said she was too excited. So
Yeah.
she was walking beside her horse. I think she walked the whole way back from.
You know what else happened that night? Jesse's deer showed up that night.
Oh my goodness.
Sorry.
How annoyed do you get?
This happens every day, by the way. Like
Cole's
when we're
life.
filming during hunting season, and Cole's like, I can't. I gotta leave
I gotta
because
go to the
there's a
deer
deer.
stand. Well, during the last podcast, does he still have it down there?
he took it
No,
down.
I
too.
took it out.
Oh, okay. He had his deer antlers up here, and we showed it off during the last podcast. Cole's a redneck.
He is.
He is.
All right.
He was right about that.
You sound like someone I know.
Who?
Oh.
Oh.
We
Maybe
cannot
pretty accurate.
say
Yep.
yet what Cole's
Yep.
talking about. One thing that I wanted to add to what
Yeah.
you were saying, it's also interesting to me, like the relationship that we have, and I'm here part of your lives for all these huge moments, but like I know all of your drama, but you guys know none of our
Literally
drama.
none.
So that's also a weird part of the relationship.
And I know you guys come every single day with your own problems and everything you're dealing with in your own personal lives, and you just kind of put that on the back burner when you show up to film, because I've never seen y'all have an emotional break. Like, we have emotional breakdowns all the time. Like, y'all hear every bit of our life problems, and y'all just show up every single day to work, and we have no idea what's going on in your personal lives.
Yeah, like have you ever seen a crew member angry?
No.
Nope.
That's what I'm saying. Like, y'all come to this with the same attitudes every single day, like, show up for work, super professional. And I'm like, man, I feel bad because I know I'm giving y'all attitude on some days where you're probably dealing with your own shit. And I'm like, how are you guys able to not, like, freak out on us the way we freak out on y'all?
I really haven't thought about that. That's a good question, because we definitely have bad days, but
Oh, I guarantee it.
you lean on your crew and you lean on each other, but you don't let your stuff impact the way that you're telling these stories or impact your cast in any way you can. Like there has to be a complete buffer there.
I was just thinking, like, you have bills to pay, credit card payments to make, like, all this crap. I don't even know how you have time to do anything when you're out
You
shooting
don't.
these shows.
Yeah,
You
I was gonna
don't.
say, because like you guys don't work. It's not a 9 to 5.
No,
like,
it's not.
it's literally
Stop.
like wake up till you go to sleep. Because like even when you
Yeah.
guys are going to sleep, you guys are all going back to the same place. Like when you guys are filming, you guys are all talking about it. Like everybody you're with, like all you guys talk about is like what's next.
Yeah,
on
no,
the
like I'm so busy. There's a stack in my room of my paychecks that I have not deposited for like 6 weeks because I literally haven't had time to deposit a paycheck.
My anxiety would be through the roof.
I mean, you never would have time whenever you're on a show, because during like work hours when a bank's open, you're
Yeah, I mean,
like, no,
I could literally do it on my phone, but I'm just like, I can't handle this right now. Like, I need to feed myself. I need to shower on days that I have time to shower, and then
it
I need to
is.
go to
I
bed.
will give. It is crazy how much like.
My mental health would be
Yeah.
in the toilet if I was having to produce one of these shows or be on set of one of these shows, because I would not have time. You don't have time to work out. You don't have time to, like, eat what you want. Like, y'all are getting, like, McDonald's in the 5-minute break that you have, or, like, swinging by whatever you can. It's a hectic
Yeah.
schedule for y'all.
But it's also weird because you're in this weird like head fog where you're not really living your own life, because
Yeah.
we are like living your lives, you
Yeah.
know? So it feels
I'm
you're
sorry.
just removed.
You guys are probably like, Cole, goddamn it, stop! Like,
How
you're stressing me out
How many
now.
projects do you take on in a year? Because each project's 3-ish months, would you say?
No, they're all across the board.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, I've had good years and bad years, and there is a lot going on with the entertainment industry right now. There's a lot of striking.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things shifting. Budgets are changing. So it's difficult, but there are times where I'm gone for like 6 months, and it's weird because I've moved so many times. Like, I don't really have roots in one place.
Yeah.
So there are so many places in the world that feel like home to me, but at the same time, nowhere feels like home. It's like
it's a very niche.
Nomad.
Yeah, like it's a
Yeah.
nomadic way of living.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be wild.
It's disorienting because sometimes I'm like, wait, what time zone am I in right now? What month is it? Like,
I feel like you're in the twilight zone.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Have you seen a lot of cool places going on?
Oh yeah, I've
I bet you've
filmed-
seen a lot.
I've been to
traveling.
like 35 countries, most of them with work, or a lot of them with work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been around the world and like experienced so many things that I never would have thought that I'd experience. I mean, like shooting something in a temple in Morocco, or like just crazy stuff. Yeah.
Gallatin, Missouri.
Yeah,
You're in
Gallatin,
Dallas,
Missouri. I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't get any better than that.
Very exotic.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's all I've got. I appreciate you coming on here because it's something that, we get to tell our side and our perspective of reality TV, but there is, as much as we get to tell, it's only 50% of the story. And what y'all do, major respect to all the work y'all put in. I've always said that we feel like in the farming and ranching industry, we work harder than anyone else out there. And after my first experience with reality TV, I was telling all of the production crew, I was like, if any of y'all want to quit and come work on the farm, like I actually think the farm work will be easier than what y'all do because you don't have to put in as many hours.
Yeah, I mean, same work ethic for sure.
It is.
But it's really interesting, and I think the audience will have a really cool viewpoint to get to hear our stories from your stories. So thanks for coming on today.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. This was a cool change of scenery for us.
Yeah, change of scenery, and it's fun having you out here on the farm. I think, like you hinted to earlier, it should be good things to come that we can talk about in the near future.
Yes.
Is there anything else you have? Get off your chest, say about us. Maybe
Anything
talk,
you need to
talk
just
bad
vent
about
about?
Jesse. Maybe.
Oh no, we need to schedule you for some stuff tomorrow though. So.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
Got to talk after this.
Alrighty.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Meet the McBees drops every Tuesday on YouTube and every other audio podcast listening platform. If you like the episode, tell a friend, like it, subscribe, share the news. We'll be dropping these every single Tuesday. Thanks so much, guys.